Hey, boys and girls.
Hey!
Hey! Welcome to the
Hey.
podcast. It's Mitch, it's Mike, and today our guest is Jay Alexander. Jay is
Hi, Jay.
a filmmaker, and you're in Detroit with old Mitchie, right, Jay?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
All right.
Actual
Well,
proper Detroit or
Well,
near
no,
Detroit?
just outside of Detroit. I don't live like in Detroit like currently, but I'm like just outside of it.
Same.
All right. All right. Yeah. So Mitch Mitch has been on camera once.
Oh,
he
thanks
got
to Jay.
He got to be. You were the true star, right? You're the headlining star in his movie, right, Mitch?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was actually. If you go to the IMDb page, Mitch's name is like right there at the front and center. And matter of fact, he actually directed it. He wrote
Yeah.
it. He did the gaffing, the cinematography.
Amazing.
He did everything.
So
Like,
his name appears above the title.
The movie's just called
on the
Mitch.
card.
The movie's just called Mitch.
Oh, my
All
gosh. We're ready for you, Jay. This is
The movie,
perfect.
the movie's just called Mitch. It'll be coming to a theater near you, December 2025. Get your tickets to Mitch now.
Mitch
I'm
the
not
movie.
gonna. Maybe later I'll tell you about the movie I want to create if I win the lottery, but it's, neither of you want to be in it.
Probably not. I know your mind.
Oh,
I know the way it works.
Now I'm intrigued.
oh, we're gonna talk about it, but
Yeah, he's gonna pitch you. Yeah.
right now we're talking about you, Jay.
Okay.
You're not a voice actor per se. I don't know if you've even tried voice acting, but you are an actor, and I've seen you act, and it's super fun. And I've
Thank
seen you at least in 2 separate roles that call for completely different situations. Great. Loving it. So exciting. But where'd you start? Like,
Where did I start?
Yeah. What? At what point in your life did you say, "I want to be in the movies," or "I want to act in front of the camera"? And then, take it a step further. At what point did you say, "You know what? I want to make movies"?
Oh man, that question's actually got a lot of layers to it, like a Christopher Nolan movie. So when I was a
Christopher Nolan.
yeah, see, so when I was a kid, I went through all the different, phases. One day it's a firefighter, then it's a policeman, and then you want to play piano. But I also had ADHD growing up, right? And I always had like a very strong like fascination and passion for movies, and I was the type that liked to act out movies and mimic what I saw. So it got to a point when I said, okay, why not do something that I do on a regular basis, in my room, and make a job out of it, get paid. I like movies, so it's like why not just 2 + 2 = 4, right?
do it.
And then when I was like about 14, 15, 16, it's like I said, I always loved movies, but you hit an age in your life where you start to really discover your own taste in movies, to start really learning what you like. So I was in like a Quentin Tarantino, Michael Mann phase, or what's his name, Martin Scorsese. So I was watching a lot of like the old gangster movies.
Wow.
It was Goodfellas, Casino, Reservoir Dogs, all the Quentin Tarantino classics. And then Michael Mann, that was when I watched Heat for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I watched Heat. And then at the time, his most recent movie was Public Enemies with Johnny Dillinger. Johnny Depp
playing.
Johnny Depp. It was about John Dillinger. Yeah. So I had a cousin that was in LA at the time, and she's actually in the movie Blindly in Love that we just did. She plays my sister, and she was very active in the industry. Like, she'd been all over, New York, Chicago, LA. So I got in touch with her on Facebook, and I just said, hey, that's what I would like to do. So how did you do it? And she really just kind of she put me in touch with one of her friends here in Michigan. His name is Orville Williams. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but we clicked and we talked on Facebook, and then he just kind of gave me, okay, point A, point B, point C. This is how you want to go about, starting. And
3 steps. Let's do it.
Yeah, he made it sound easy like ABC.
3 easy steps.
He made it sound easy like ABC, but of course the part I didn't tell you is that in those 3 steps there was still like subsections. There was like 1B,
It's those sub-steps.
1A,
Gosh, dang
1B,
it.
1C. It's
Subsections will get you.
So it's really so it was really more like 9 steps as opposed
that's
to
not bad.
3. It was really more like 9. But
All right.
anyway, yeah. So one of the things that they said was, try getting into, school and acting classes, and we didn't necessarily grow up the most financially well off, so going to school wasn't really an option for me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did have was, determination and an iPad at my disposal, and I was already editing because when I started out, I made fan trailers, for YouTube.
Oh,
So
okay.
Okay.
I rounded up my brother from another mother. Shout out to him. I rounded him up and, a couple of our friends that we just kind of knew, and we just got an iPad. We just started making short films on YouTube. And we kept that up for, a good year or two, like, and they got increasingly longer. Like the first one we did, it was 7 minutes. Then the next one we did, it was 30 minutes. And then the last one we did was an hour. And then
And are
eventually
you collaborating to write these scripts, or are you writing them all yourself?
these scripts, we like, me and my brother would like kind of put our heads together, and we just like kind of would like trade off ideas, and then we actually put it on paper, and we kept up like that for for a while. But most of the writing, like some of the things we did, I wrote, and then there were times where we put our heads together, and we collaborated on the writing.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
So what ended up happening after that is that I ended up discovering these groups on Facebook, the acting groups, with Michigan casting calls, etc. And I
Yeah.
was in those, and then I'd say it was around 2017. This director reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, I got a film that I think you'd be a good for. Would you like to come and audition?" So I met him at Wayne State, and it was for a film called Dream Heights. I auditioned for the film, and I remember the part that I wanted. At the time, I was only like 19, 18, and the part that I saw called for like someone that was in like their late 20s. So I said, "I like this, but I don't think I'm old enough for it." So he's like, "Yeah, I think we can work with it. Yeah, go ahead, try read it." So I read it, and then I remember he said come back and this is a callback. I'm thinking I got the role, but then I walk in, there's like 100 other people and like 3 other people that's up for the same role I'm doing. I'm like, "Holy shit, pressure's
This
on."
is real. Yeah.
Right. So the cool thing about auditioning, when they put you all in the same room, when you don't go first and you see other people do it, it's like, okay, just do that but better. So
Oh, interesting.
so it's like so it's
Good
like
advice.
okay, I did it, and I obviously, long story short, I ended up getting the part. And
Right.
then when we were on set, I guess I feel like I kind of did this maybe a little early, but it still worked out the way it was supposed to. So at this point in my life, I remember I had a script that had been just kind of burning space on my hard drive for like 3 years. It was called Jake and Jack, and it was a passion project where it was basically like a culmination of what I experienced like within the last 10 years of my life, wrapped into a 2-hour movie. So I remember I tried taking that to a few producers in the past, but they were scammers. You're gonna meet people like that when you just get started.
Oh.
They see you're young, they're gonna take advantage of you. But the one thing I always did know to never deviate from: if they take money from you up front before they do anything from you, they're scamming you. Go the opposite direction.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I pitched him, the movie, the idea, and what it was about, and he liked what he saw. So he said, "Okay, scratch my back, go scratch your back. So you help me, you act through this movie, and then after that we can talk about your movie." So then that was where, at age 19, this is where I'm making my first feature length with a cast, a crew, casting calls, auditions. It was just wow, it was awesome. And I remember like the audition process was the most exciting part of it, because you got all these different people that are excited and ecstatic to want to meet you and be part of your project and what you got going on. And then it's like you can just kind of just pick like, yeah, I want you, I don't want you, I want you, I don't want you. It's awesome because you can just pick.
You have the
you can
power.
just pick. You got options, and options are great.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we ran through we went through the casting process, and then it was time to start. We shot the movie in 2018, but we didn't officially get to release it until 2020, because what happened was, all right, so we had someone that was at the start of the project. He was close with our producer, and I'm not going to say his name, but like he He invited us out to brunch. We went to Bistro Joe's, and he just paid this whole tab like it was nothing. So that's when we knew, Bistro Joe's, that's not a cheap place. So that's when we know, okay, this guy's loaded. He's obviously got to be like who he says he is, right? Not to mention, he's pulling out his phone and he's showing us that he's got phone numbers to people like Zack Snyder and Gal Gadot. So we're thinking, okay, this guy's really legit. Like, he's just casually
Right.
showing us these text threads between these two people, right? So we made a deal. The deal was that if we put his son in the movie, he would fund our distribution. That was the deal, right? Now, his son didn't necessarily fit the criteria for what we were looking for in the movie, but I made it work. So I went back and reworked the script just to add in a whole 5-minute sequence just to include his kid. Only for us to not end up using it anyway, because when the movie was done, we did our part, and then he just kind of just decided he was going to stop picking up the phone. So thankfully, this scene was a throwaway, and I wrote it to where it was inconsequential on the rest of the story, so I was able to just cut it out. It's referenced,
Damn.
and you can kind of see bits of it in the trailer, but it's not there. So, shit happens, right? But
So
Wow.
you lost distribution.
we lost it, but we picked it back up because one door closed, another one opened. When we finished this movie, it was just we were just these two kids that was stuck with a 120-minute movie, and we don't know what to do next. We didn't have anyone, I didn't have anyone, holding my hand and teaching me, point A, point B, point C to this game. Like, everything I accomplished, I had to learn the hard way in, experience in the field. I had to go get it, I didn't go to school. So when the movie was finished, we said, okay, we got to make money off it somehow. What can we do with it? So we made DVDs, with menus and scene selections. We put them on disc, and we were just, and we were just trapping them out the back of the trunk. We sold them like all over our jobs, $5 a piece. And then, we rented out an auditorium at Wayne State. Just called it like a little watch party, An auditorium at Wayne State, that's nothing extravagant to really call it a premiere. So we just called it a watch party. He said, hey, $10, come watch it,
That's cool.
We didn't sell shit. It was like maybe 10 people that came and watched it, and they were like our friends. A good half of the people that responded to the event on Facebook said they were going, and it was just like, yeah, I'm on my way, and then they don't show up. So, and then after that, when we said, okay, we made everything we could off of DVDs, the watch party was kind of a bust, so we just said, all right, just throw it on YouTube for free for people to watch. And then after being up on YouTube for 3 days, a guy in LA contacted me and said, hey, it's COVID season now because it's 2020. He said, hey, it's COVID season now. People are looking for something to watch. Do you need distribution? So we started talking, and one thing led to another. Jake and Jack was picked up by Indie Rights, and then months later, you were able to stream it on Google Play, YouTube Movies, Tubi, and Amazon Prime. So I said, okay, now this is a proud moment for all of us because we did what we said we were gonna do. We made a movie.
It was a streaming movie. That's insane.
So when you did that, when it got picked up for streaming, I'm assuming you took it down from free YouTube.
Yeah, it had to come down immediately. As soon as that discussion started and we shook hands and said yes, it had to come down immediately.
Okay.
So how does that work? I mean, when you get on the Tubi and the YouTube movies and all of that, I'm assuming there's an income stream that happens with that. And I don't need to know figures, but I mean, does that get set up where it's like every time someone downloads your movie or streams your movie, there's a certain percentage or there's a certain something that comes to you as the creator?
Yeah. So the distributor, the company that picks up your movie, they get their percentage. Obviously, the middleman gets his percentage, and then the rest of it is the filmmaker's cut. So it's a lot of hands in the pie.
Yeah,
right. Well, you see something.
Goes through the strainer, and eventually something trickles out to you.
Yeah.
The filmmaker. All right, so then you got your first project done. Took a while, but you got it onto services. What became of that? I mean, at that point, were you contacted by others? Did people, okay, now we know your product and now we know what you can do, and so, or did you basically did people come to you, or your next project was it started the same way, where it was you doing it, and then you had to find someone to distribute?
So there's actually kind of yeses to a few of those questions you just asked me, Mike. So when we did that, when we did that project, it it didn't open a whole lot of doors for us immediately, because there's what I'm learning about being a filmmaker is that there's stages in it. When you're first starting out, not a lot of people know you. You're going to be making it with your friends, and when you don't really have too much to show for it, it makes it a little tougher for someone to take you serious and want to work with you. Like, I would say I have a lot easier of a time now with the community, being taken serious by the community and getting them to work with me now, as opposed to then. Because by then, I didn't have a feature, and I was younger than I was now. Nobody knows me at them. Now it's like, okay, I got a few movies out. I've been around the community. I've done other projects. People are getting more familiar with my face. They know if you're working with me, something is going to come out of it. So it's like,
Right.
it's easier to get a yes from people now than it was then. So in that stage, doing that, doing that movie, I was still kind of trying to, still kind of trying to break out. I was still trying to get familiar with the community and learn how things are. And like I said, I didn't have anybody holding my hand, telling me what to do next. So it's like, me basically leading, my team is like, I always gotta, it's a lot more pressure when you're in the pilot seat, because, you're trying to find a way and navigate this business that you don't really know too much about, but everyone's looking to you for a solution. So it's like, it just,
And you got to look like you at least partially know what you're doing,
Right.
even if you don't. You got to put that air on.
even,
It's a
even-
funny point you made about you don't know if anyone's going to hold up their end of the bargain. You talk to so
Yeah.
many actors or directors or writers, you don't know if they're going to finish writing that script they were telling you about 4 years ago or whatever. You don't know. And yes, they see you creating things. It's like, oh, follow the leader. And
it's a very big dice roll. And the thing is like, see, when I started out in this business, me being so young, I was exposed to a lot of the ugly in this business very fast, and I feel like it made me wiser getting older, because now it's like, okay, I can differentiate who's gonna waste my time, who's gonna actually be about what they say, who's gonna set me up, and who's actually genuine with their intentions, because I've been through all kinds of situations with this movie. I've experienced the real, the fake, people trying to set me up, rob me, people actually, being what they're about. I've even had someone go as far as to say, I'm not going to say his name, but I really had someone come up to me and say, hey, I can get you distribution for 40% of profit. I said 40%. Like, that was just crazy to me, because why do you think you're entitled to 40% of something you didn't touch? A typical middleman fee is about 15-20. Like, I think that's reasonable. 40, you want 40%?
Trying to take advantage of a young guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So take us then through how many movies have you done now? I mean, that was year 19. That was 2018. It's fast forward 7 years. How many movies have you made?
So this is my third feature that I say that I created from the ground up. I've done DP work for three other films. I've done like some extra and background work. So I'd say I probably got about maybe 10 or so things on my IMDb. I'm not sure, but when people ask me how many
And you're
movies
talking
I
about
made, I
Love is
usually say
Blind,
3.
right?
Blindly in Love, yeah, that's
Or
my
Blind in Love,
third
sorry.
feature. That's my third feature. Yeah, that's my
You made
third
Love
feature
is Blind.
that I was like actively involved, like from its grassroots phase.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
So go ahead, Mitch. You had a question.
Well, I know that it wasn't that long ago that you started filming. I mean, I know some movies can take years to make for people.
Yeah.
It felt like not that long ago when you shot your first scene. Yeah, what maybe Mike has a better question on. Yeah, take us through this one. Is that what you're about to say? Take us through what's going on with this?
Well, yeah. I mean, now that it's your third feature that you have created, right? That you are the creative mind behind. What has changed? What are you doing different this time? Obviously, the first time was more of a guerrilla shoot. It sounds like with friends and just making it and you know, on the fly, you know, in your free time and stuff. Now you're at the point where is it a different situation? Is it still you're shooting it and waiting for distribution, or do you have that set up? Your contacts in the industry, is it making things easier now to you know to do this one?
Yeah, so this project compared to my last couple, so the one I did before this, that actually took us 2 years to make. This one thankfully didn't take us 2 years. We had a set schedule from August to November. The schedule got elongated and pushed, so we actually just wrapped up, just 3 weeks ago. But we still got it done in like under 6 months. And to me, that's a win for me, because my second film was just released last year, and like I said, that one took us a couple years. So to have a fast turnaround and to get it done in like just a fraction of that time and have it out, to me that's a win. To me that's progress.
Yeah.
As long as it's like, as long as we're trending upwards and not down, I look at every little thing as a win, because it takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight. And sometimes I have my moments where I beat myself and I knock myself down. I say, man, I really feel like I should be a lot further. What am I not doing? Am I not working hard enough? Is it something I'm not seeing? But, I just got to believe that, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in everyone's defined time. And it's like, if it's taking you longer, it's because there's probably still some lessons that you got to learn to get you ready for where you're supposed to be. So, I just look at it as, okay, don't rush it and just let it happen naturally, because it'll be so much more rewarding and deserving when it finally does happen. Because then you could say, I earned it. I didn't take any shortcuts. I learned everything I needed to know, everything I was supposed to learn. I would say one of the biggest things that I've learned about this movie compared to the last is I'm finding it easier to be able to hop in and out of directing and acting a little bit more ease. Because directing and acting are two different states of mind, in my opinion. Like, directing is a state of focus. Acting is a state of emotion. So it's a very, very split-second switch to go from telling somebody what to do to now you're mentally instructing yourself and having to act with this person in the scene. Like, to go from serious and stern to emotional and sad in in an instant, that's not an easy skill. It's not. So, with this movie being a little bit more calmer, because the last one was an action movie, this one was, like drama. It was a very dialogue heavy film. So I feel like this was a good, playground for me to be able to like kind of feel myself out and, kind of polish up those skills. And then also just learning to, get around different people. This one was a little bit more outside of my comfort zone, because I was around more strangers and other people that was in the industry. Like, my last two movies, I was still kind of somewhat surrounded by, friends and family. This one, I got more active members in the community. So being able to work around all these different people and bounce off them and see how I do with these people and how well they work with me, see, to me, when I make a movie, my movies are like my kids. They are extensions of my creativity. And Denis Villeneuve, I watched the guy that directed Dune and Blade Runner 2049. I watched something about him the other day, and he said it best. He said that creativity is vulnerability. So he said he can never work around someone that's toxic or abrasive, because I have to be able to comfortably explain myself to you, and I have to make sure that you understand me, and I have to be able to understand you. There's a vulnerability and a safe space that goes into that, because you're essentially explaining what's on your mind. And when your actors, when your crew can understand what's on your mind, you guys are just working in unison. It got to a point where I didn't even need to tell anybody what to do. I just go over the game plan. I say, okay, this is what we're shooting today. And I just say, okay, make it happen. And everyone just makes it happen and just moves accordingly. And that's when you know that you have a good team of people, because you guys are all mentally in sync. You guys are all working together, trying to accomplish the same thing. You're trying to make the best quality product possible with what you have, and it's not very much either. And that's why that's what makes
Yeah.
independent filmmaking so beautiful. And I appreciate whenever there's like little small mistakes that make it into a movie. Like, let's say like the color is a little bit off in this shot, or the sound is a little abrasive in this shot, or maybe someone's hand got caught in like the corner of it. I appreciate those little mistakes. That's like a weird thing about me. Sometimes I like when those mistakes make it into a film, because to me there's beauty in imperfection. You know, life
I agree.
isn't perfect. So independent
You joined the right
filmmaking isn't
podcast,
perfect.
For
Independent
your first-
filmmaking
yeah.
isn't perfect, you know?
Yeah.
That's the way we feel here. Is like, we're gonna screw up. We're gonna say things
Yeah.
and ask a stupid question and not get an end. It's like, yeah, that's just part of it. Yeah.
Right.
Am I editing that out? Probably not.
I think you tapped into something really beautiful too, is that when you bring a bunch of people together that you might not know, or you know them, it doesn't matter. Almost everybody there, I would say generally everybody, is trying to do their best for the group. They're not
Yeah.
trying to mess up the scene. So they're bringing, they might not be the best extra actor, whatever, camera holder. They
Yeah.
you know, as someone who gets paid a lot to do it, but they're trying their best, which means you're getting the best out of them, and then it's a collective. You feel it. That I don't
Yeah.
quite understand, because I've never created anything like you have. So it's cool to hear it from your perspective, where it's like, yeah, I know we're all in this together. It's
Yeah.
nice to hear it from a director that
It's a very comforting safe space, because it's like, you know, everyone here is looking out for the best interest of the film, the same as you are. They got the same care and passion and respect for the project that you're putting into it, and you want to make sure that you're around, you know, a good collective people like that, because, you know, when someone's lacking, or, you know, just doing their job half-assed, you know, it really shows. You know, we're already independent, low-budget filmmakers, so it doesn't take much to get roasted. So when someone's really not doing their best, at a point, it's like, okay, I can forgive this being a low-budget movie, but this, I can't. That's just, yeah, no, I
that's tough.
2 stars on IMDb.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me, Jay, you're not 19 anymore, but you're still young. You're still, the future's bright. What's the future hold for Jay Alexander? Where do you expect this to take you? Where do you hope it takes you? I'm just curious about your filmmaking future.
The way I see it, you know, I look at it as I've gotten comfortable in like the circumstances that I in with being a creator and in the pilot seat, and also trying to build up my own brand, reputation, and company. So it's like, if down the road, if whatever reason I'm ever in the right place at the right time, and I'm presented with the opportunity to go to Hollywood, then sure, I earned it. I do it. But if that never does happen, then my plan right now is to keep building myself up, keep making the best movies that I can, get better with each movie, make sure that it's more challenging than the last, because if it's not challenging, then why do it? Make sure that there's an exponential increase in quality than the last, like just keep doing better each time, and make this get myself to a point where this is sustainable, so that I can keep doing this full time. You know, that's really like that's really all I can do. Like all I can do is just get up and try. And I just want to make sure I'm polishing up my skills as a director, as an actor, a writer, and just an all-around filmmaker, and just a very well-rounded businessman. And then take, you know, the revenue that I'm making off these films, and, you know, branch them off into other business ventures, you know, like brands, clothes, businesses. You know, I'm an entrepreneur first. I've learned that about myself, is that I am an entrepreneur.
But you're doing right now, it's passion projects. You're doing it to create and learn. That's, amazing and wonderful, and not everyone gets the chance or has the drive to do that. So hopefully that builds. I could see, if you push hard enough, that's just going to build into whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Especially if the main goal you're having is to learn. I don't think you cannot learn from some experience you're having.
And
Yeah,
the drive to do something like this is pretty amazing. I mean, we're all creatives in this room. I mean, most of the people who are listening to this or watching it are creatives in one shape or way, shape, or form. And so, that's why Mitch and I get into the booth, is we like to create, we like to entertain, we like to, just have fun with something. So for you, I mean, for us, it's getting a script, reading the script into a microphone, sending a file off, hoping you get picked, chosen
Right.
and paid. Money's good. Or some passion projects that we're involved with, audio dramas and things like that. For you, I mean, you take that to 1,000, just
Yeah.
because it's not just talking into a microphone. You're writing scripts and getting equipment and setting schedules and casting, whether it's with people or full on casting calls and whatever, and then scheduling shoot and doing the shoot. And I'm assuming you're editing as well.
yes,
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the whole kit and caboodle, and
yeah,
see, kit and caboodle is an old
It's an
old
old-timey
phrase that we
word.
old timers used to use. It's the whole package,
Yeah.
and so that to me is is just pretty impressive
Yeah.
to have that kind of drive. So kudos to you, my friend, and
Kudos for
and
sure.
much
thank you.
And
much success to you.
holding like a job, right? Like a job that isn't part of your passion.
Yeah.
That's
To make
like
passion projects, you have to pay the bills somehow.
exactly.
And
It's-
so yeah.
It's like I work a 9 to 5 to support my passion, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have more questions, Mike? I know we have my famous question, but
No, I mean, we took you full circle from where it began to the projects you've done to what you hope for the future. And again, I mean, just from us sincerely, we hope for your success as well. I know Mitch, being a local, loves being involved with you, and that's why he wanted to have you on the podcast here and support you and promote you. And so I hope to hear and see big things from you in the future. So okay, so Blindly in Love is the name of the current feature that was just finished. I'm sure you're still in editing,
Yeah.
and working on distribution and stuff. So tell us what's the plot of Blindly in Love? What can we look forward to seeing?
So Blindly in Love basically follows an age gap relationship about Travis Gorman, who's 27, who ends up falling for this woman, Deborah Davis, who's 40, and she is married. And then over time, Travis learns that there's actually more than meets the eye with Deborah, and his life just kind of spirals out into a chaotic cycle of harassment, murder, and ends up basically kind of finds himself face to fighting for his life by the end of the film. So,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
dramatic.
there's a lot. So, there's a few different layers that's, in this movie. It's a romance, but it's also a crime drama / murder mystery as well. So,
Very cool.
It was
sounds fun.
it was a very exciting project. This one I actually didn't write the screenplay for. It was Stephen Hartman. It's so many layers to that dude. I love working with him because it's like
Is he
every-
another
Nice guy,
Detroit
too.
local?
Yes, he is.
He's like he's like humble about it when he's telling you about himself, because it's like he'll just casually pull up an episode of Friends and be like, yeah, that's me right there, and I'll be like, what?
what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'll be
He's
like,
humble
what's-
as hell. He should have
he-
been telling me the first time I met him. What the heck?
It was very.
Now
yeah,
you're gonna
he
watch
was-
the entirety of the Friends TV show just to find
That's
Hartman.
Steve.
Shortly after Jake and Jack, we met, and we hit it off. We talked for a second, and then he reached out to me later. He said, "Hey, I'd be interested in writing an article about you if you're interested." So this was like my first interview. I was like, "Cool, questions and answers, right?"
All right.
So we did the interview, and then he wrote his he wrote his piece, and you can actually still find it. The link's somewhere on my Facebook. And
We'll find it.
And then
Yeah, Mitch will plug you at the end.
another movie later, that's when he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but been keeping up with you. I just saw your last movie. Good job for still going strong. I have another movie. It's very simple and minimal. Would you be interested in doing it?" So I read it and I see it's about this age gap relationship. I'm like, yes, because
Right.
I
it
get
just
to smooch an older woman. I'm in.
I mean, I wouldn't put it like that, but it's like there was
Tell
a
the
lot
truth though.
of
When you have a kissing scene,
there was a
do
lot of
you like
experience with that.
do you like do it and then yell cut and say no, we need to do that again? You do it like 27 times just so you can,
She's gonna make somebody uncomfortable.
I'm just kidding.
You just gotta get the best shot. You just gotta get the best shot possible. And you just do what needs to be done to make sure you're making a good scene. And I think that these scenes came out really good. Like I'm very proud of how they came out. You guys will see them when the movie's released.
Which is
Alright.
when? Maybe. Ish.
So I mean, with the way everything's going, it's looking like maybe I would say by the end of spring is when we could see it on.
Oh,
streaming.
all right.
Oh,
By the end of spring.
that makes me want
to.
to cry for you. That's so exciting. Shed
All
a
right.
little tear.
Well, Mitch, you had your show-stopping question.
I don't know if I need to ask. You said Steve Hartman.
Yeah.
Before we get into ChatGPT Roulette, which you've already agreed to and you may not back out contractually,
It's gonna happen.
did you want to quickly shout out a couple more people that we need to be on the lookout for or anything?
Yes, I want to just go ahead and just take a second and really just kind of just shout out everybody that is kind of the reason like why I'm here. You know, Chris Wick, Derek Jackson, Dimitri DeMarcus, Theodore Bonner, Hudson Shaw, my original Runner from Wolves crew, and I would not be here if it wasn't for these guys. And then I also, want to draw some attention to all of the names that's on, this project. Look out for Steve, look out for Mitch and and his podcast. To Cy Hampton and Kelly Wisemere, and then my cinematographers, Jason and Mike, awesome guys. They did a hell of a job with
What's their
filming this
company
movie.
called?
Redline Media. Look out
Nice.
for Mark Ozark, Lars J. Loofborough, Bill Ken- okay, Bill Kenny. Pretty much look out for this entire cast and crew. Like it was a very collective group of people, and I would work with these people again in a heartbeat.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I hope to
right.
meet most of
Good
them
group
at one
of
of those meetups. My tabs are gonna be like, okay, okay, this person. It's like,
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break that no one listening to this will even perceive as we work up a cool or horrible or goofy, however it turns out, ChatGPT script to do with our friend Jay. We'll
can
be
we
back
make
in
it
a second.
about bike rider? Okay.
Yeah. Oh wow. So not yet. So we asked Jay what he wanted to do. Did he want to do something dramatic or did he want to do something? He's like,
Yeah.
no, let's go off the wall. Let's play around. So yeah, we have an off the wall script for you here.
Mm.
Let's just
All
be
right.
goofy.
So you guys ready? All right,
I
here we
think
go.
so.
I'll set the scene. The princess is sitting on her throne, trying to look composed, while 3 video game characters approach her, each with their own very different style.
God, dear princess, fear not, for I, Sir Arthur, shall rescue you from this jury's fate and whisk you away to the finest ship,
Nope.
to the finest dinner table. Well, I'll make sure to protect you from the evil, the evil, of course.
Oh, that's very kind, Sir Arthur.
Foolish knight. No amount of armor or clumsy attempts can protect her from danger. I am the danger.
Did you just grunt at me?
Grunts are better than whatever it is you're wearing on your head.
Boyo, 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 boyo. Well, that was adorable, Kirby.
Wait. I have a whole suit of armor. I can lift swords, and I am chivalrous. I can win battles, and... But of course, that wasn't part of the plan.
Boyo, boyo, boyo!
Kirby, what are you doing here? You're too soft for this. I deal with demons. I don't play around.
Soft! This is purely man strength. My lightning pursuits are unmatched.
Boyo! Boyo! This is all so very interesting, but I think I'm more confused than ever.
Well, confusion is only natural when greatness approaches. You see, Princess, I will save you from any danger. And again, I will save you from any danger, and I will rescue you from my own accidents.
Ah. Boyo!
I'll be back when there's real danger.
Wait!
Oh,
Wait! I'm the one who will protect her.
all right. There, you three are something, but maybe just leave me alone for a minute. Boyo!
But wait! I can do better. Look! A treasure.
You're all so hopeless. The scene ends with the princess giggling as the three characters awkwardly continue their attempts to impress her.
Not leaving her alone at all.
No. I don't know. It seems like Doomslayer is like, I'm out of here. This sucks.
Yeah, it's actually not impressive at all for how many shotguns he's probably got.
All right. Well,
Wow.
yeah, you wanted weird, off the wall. That's pretty much what that was. All right. Well, hey, Jay, and it's cool because I mean you were very composed and very I'm the filmmaker and had great stories and everything. And then the fact that you just totally went off persona and went super goofy with Arthur there. That was fantastic. Really enjoyed playing around with you.
Perfect change-up.
Yes.
I like to cut. I like to cut loose. I like to cut loose. I'm a pretty versatile person.
Next film from Jay Alexander, comedy.
Next film.
Dumb and Dumber 3. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Jay. Thanks, Mitch, again. And we'll catch you all on the flip side.
All right,
Bye.
Mitch. All right, Mitch. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me. It was good talking to you guys. I'll be listening to this.
Yeah, buddy.
See you after.
See ya.
See you soon.